it's Dr. Meredith Watson, psychoneuroimmunologist, unapologetic therapist. I wanted to talk about a couple things, and this has been an interesting day, so this is going to be an interesting live, especially given the hour. Um, a lot of what I do is I support the people pleasers, those that are doing too much, forgetting themselves, suffocating, conforming, codependent, and I help them stop doing that and knowing that all that they need, the love, acceptance, belonging, all of that is inside of them. They don't have to look outside themselves for those things. But I wanted to talk a lot about kind of stop the people pleasing. Um, I find that it's such an innate talent for many people, especially women, moms, those that kind of just want that at a girl, or that at a boy. A lot of us are finding ourselves suffocating in this box created by someone else that forgot to leave air holes. We're staying in maintaining relationships that are one-sided, emotionally, maybe even physically abusive and destructive, all because we don't think we deserve better, or we feel like we're not good enough for anything more than what we're getting. And the truth is, we are worthy, we are enough, we are everything that magical feeling that we might see in other people or we might want or we're chasing. We already have that magic inside of us. And we've all survived 100% of the things that try to destroy us, consume us, just burn us into flames. We've all come through it. Maybe a little marked up, but we've come through it. And we have to give ourselves credit for having gotten through those things thus far. And reframing that is very important. Feelings are feelings. They need to be acknowledged and worked through and dealt with, but there's no need to stay there for an extended period of time. Rather, reframing it has often been what I utilize to move through it and use it as a catalyst for change. And think about it this way. I don't know if you've ever watched these shows where the guest or the host are coming out from behind the curtain or down the aisle, and the announcer is saying all these things about them, their story, their blurb, kind of their running out story, their coming out story. And I've tried to reframe some of the shit that's happened, especially today. The things that ail us, the things that bother us, even the things we're celebrating, the things we're hoping for, manifesting, thinking about that as your coming out story or your run out story. And that if it's not something that you like, considering the fact that when you look back on it years from today, weeks from today, even days from today, or if it's a specific situation, maybe hours from that day, that it was just part of the plan. And it was the win that was lifting you up to get you to where you wanted to be, that this is part of your great come out story. This is part of the framework, the thread, the cloth that's going to make you into everything that you ever truly wanted to be. And just getting to that point where you can reframe it and see it from a different perspective. I did a live one time and I thought I was live. It turns out I wasn't, so I'm checking to make sure I'm live. Hi, Lynn. How are you? So good to see you. And it's, for me, I underslept last night, which means I didn't get enough sleep. And I had a 3-hour conference call. I had client calls. I'm trying to prep. My daughter's doing her first oral surgery tomorrow, and I am terrified. Nothing says single mom, uprising phoenix than watching your daughter be sedated and you're trying to be strong for her, but no one's there to kind of keep you comforted and hold your hand. And it used to be that my mom would be there, and this time, those of you that are following the saga of me and my mom, right now I don't know if she's coming or not. We haven't spoken. So maybe I don't want her just to show up and just scare the fuck out of me. I would rather her tell me she's coming, which she hasn't, and we're like 10 hours from the surgery, so I don't think she's going to be there, but anything's possible. But I spoke with those that know I'm adopted, but I spoke to someone from my genetic family. I've always known who they were. I spoke to them today, and it was a huge mistake. I don't know if any of you have ever had someone in your life that you cut them off, but something draws you back. Something calls you in, and you go back and you talk to them or whatever. And I did that. I made the mistake of talking to this family member that I'm genetically related to, and I fell back in the trap. And instead of beating myself up, which I did for about an hour, I decided that I was going to let that fall from grace be a catalyst to learn more about me and why I do the things that I do, why I got roped in and let myself get roped in. I'm pretty strong usually. And so I let myself get roped back in. And it's weird because they embrace people so well. They just invite them into the fold and the tribe, and they embrace them and they love them and they sing their praises and they lift them up. And I don't know that version of them. Like, I don't know what it's like to be embraced by them and lifted up, and everything I used to do, everything I did, even the good, was tarnished with judgment and ridicule and tearing it apart and making it, shreds of grass on the ground. And so, not that I'm saying you shouldn't embrace people and you shouldn't love people, but they embrace people with such, I don't know, I can't think of the word. I can't think of the word right now, but they are just so cavalier with their love, flagrant. That's the word I was looking for, flagrant. They're just so flagrant with their love and affection and calling people in and, embracing them. And the kind of people they embrace are the very people I used to be told was not the kind of people you hang out with. And you don't do those things that the people that they embrace now do, and they're fine with it. But it wasn't so much that I care who they embrace. I guess it was a part of me that, for that sense of belonging, I never felt that. I never knew what that was like. So I was searching for that sense of belonging. And I think a part of me was looking for it even now with the person that I spoke to, but we're never going to get there. Like, I'm never going to be embraced by them. I'm never going to be enveloped by them because I am the mirror of everything that they don't want to see. I cast doubt, and not doubt, but I cast shadow on them, and I've always been the outcast. So I don't know that free love that they give so easily to other people. And a part of me was wondering how that is. And then I realized that I call out what they do, and I call what's wrong wrong. And I guess I make a mockery of what they say is right and okay. Like, I cast, I kind of am the mirror, I guess. I show them I don't stand for their tomfoolery and their ridiculous behavior. And I guess the people that they embrace do. Maybe those people are like, yeah, what you're doing is fine. And same way with my in-laws. They've always kind of thrown shade at what I've done and how I've lived my life and how I raise my children. But they embrace the people in their life that do worse things. And it's interesting who we embrace and who we repel. So taking a lesson from that, one of the things I always teach my clients is about not looking outside yourself for that love, validation, acceptance, and belonging. And I teach that with such gusto because I know what it's like to crave that and to want it at all costs, even at the very sacrifice of your well-being and everything that you stand for. And sometimes you cave. But it's all in an effort to get that love and validation and belonging back, or to achieve it, or to have it. And sometimes not sometimes, more often than not, you're sacrificing your very well-being and who you are and your core values just for that at a girl, or that glimmer of, validation or excitement in that person's eyes. It is very short-lived. It's like a morphine, it's time to, hit the morphine button again. So it's after I meditated and journaled, I prayed, I did the work. I was still mom, I was still coach, I was still friend today. Mostly, it was Phoenix rising. It was rising above this and trying to still keep going and to keep learning and keep rising above. And, sometimes we have to get into the dirt of it to see the diamond in the rough. Like, we have to get into the thick of it to understand what the story is or what the real issue is and get to the root of it. And it sure as hell helps you to be grateful for what you have. I have a beautiful home and a car, and I love my daughter, and I love the work that I do, the change making I get to accomplish, the Phoenix rising I get to accomplish, my efforts to help others move through and move above and rise above and turn around and revamp and reframe their journey and know that it's the wind that helps them to rise up and rise above. And I refuse to let my past define me, and my present help me stay complacent. I want more. I want to be present more. I want to show my daughter what's possible. She deserves that ever-present mom that shows her what's possible. And it keeps me in the fore of what's possible for me. Like, it's possible to rise above that. It's possible not to keep that toxicity going. And it's very, very difficult. Thank you so much, Lynn. I really appreciate that. It really is possible to rise above the shit. It just is. You can choose not to. That's your privilege. That's your right. There used to be a song when I was growing up called My Prerogative. And it's really about that decision that you make to not let it define you, whatever it is, but to let it just be a part of the story, to let it be a part of your coming out story, your rise above story, the guiding light that helps to kind of get you to that lighthouse. I live near beaches and islands, so I'm a fan for lighthouses. But that lighthouse is kind of like your vocal point to get you to where you want to go. Like sometimes the shit we go through, the pain and the suffering and the agonizing story, it's an opportunity for us to grow and evolve and rise above. And we have to take it as that, deal with it, get into the thick of it if you have to, but come out rising above it and letting it not consume you and usurp everything that you've worked so hard to accomplish. And if you want support, I am an ever ready guiding light to shed some light on your awesomeness. All you need is within you. Every bit of magic that you want is already nestled with that inside of you. It's just about taking an aerial view and kind of picking it out, that diamond in the rough, picking it out and dusting it off and shining it up and letting it shine for the world to see, because you came here to do something special and amazing, and you're worthy of all the things you ever wanted. And for those that know, I'm super excited about my therapy practice that just was patented, trademarked, and I'm honored, I'm humbled, because I was not, how you go into something and you're not even sure if it's going to be of any worth or essence to anyone, and then you see the change and you see the light go off and you see the all the effort was worth it. And it's the Phoenix therapy method, and I utilize that as a tool to support the people pleasers, the ones always doing too much, the codependent, those forgetting themselves, all in an effort to get love, validation, acceptance, and belonging, so that they know, so that you know at a core level, at the cellular level, that you are worthy and all that you have and inside of you is worthy of coming out and shining. And you have all the magic. You possess all the magic that you ever wanted inside of you. And it encompasses taking people's journey and looking at their story, their come out story, their life story, their run out story, and using it as the when to rise up, the when to rise above, and as a tool to know that you already are everything you ever wanted, to be unapologetic and stop being anything other than your truest self, because we came here to shake the world up in a way that only we can. The modality I use is my one-to-one VIP on-demand coaching and a portal jam-packed with mind maps, ebooks, strategies, formulas, e-courses, videos, meditations, affirmations that we customize and utilize to you. You have me in your back pocket, and I'm there to help you kind of walk through the journey with some ease and grace and finesse and tenacity as much as possible. Some things are just sticky, some things are just rough, but I can promise you, having been the recipient of a great deal of mentoring and coaching and support, it is the best way to go if you want to get through it with support. It's hard enough, but to go through it alone is almost exhausting. It is exhausting in and of itself, but it's harder going it alone. It's very difficult. And I'm the type A control freak who hates to ask for help, but I know that there's just some roads that just are a whole lot better with a GPS system and a map and a tour guide, if you will. So I am going to leave you. I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Send the love vibes. I'm terrified of my daughter's procedure tomorrow as a worrying mom. And I've been on the medical end, so I know what's going to happen. It's just still very unnerving. And send love and light to my mom. She has her own roads to travel and her own journey to take. And maybe this just part isn't for me to ride with her and her not to ride with me, but it's exhausting and it's terrifying. So I'm going to head out. I'm also listening to binaural beats as I talk, and it's the most meditative, amazing thing. If you're not familiar with it, feel free to message me. They're like the best thing in the world, and it's just these beats, and it's just so relaxing, and it helps you to get into the vibe of real relaxation and meditation. See, you can meditate while you're doing it live. Meditation is different for everybody. So I'm going to head out for the 5th time. I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Thanks for listening. Thanks for pressing replay. Feel free to share this wherever you feel it'll be most beneficial. If you know someone this will help. And I'll put my information in the comments if you'd like to book a session. Have a great one, guys. Thanks so much.